let's focus around what a good interview process looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you see, what does a good interview process look like for a CXO?
Yeah, that's a great question. So if we're talking private equity backed CXO, this is interesting. If I look at the Talgo curriculum, there's a lot of points where we are very like, there's a right way and a wrong way. This is the right way. Like, don't ask hypothetical questions. Wrong way. On process, I would not say there is one best practice on process. However, there are certain guiding principles that are really important. I would say the single most important guiding principle of a great CXO hiring process is what we call divide and conquer. It's individual interviewers specializing in certain aspects of the roles and not trying to cover everything. So if you're going to talk about failure modes of private equity funds and assessing execs, it's total lack of preparedness, no coordination amongst the team. We all have the same 45 or 60-minute conversation with the exec where we ask, what would you do in your first 90 days here? How do you think about this market or this industry? Why are you fired up about this job? And then maybe a little bit about how'd you do in your last 4 quarters at such and such.
And then they always ask them,
if we're all doing that,
what is your reason for leaving? The candidate gets asked that about 7 times in an interview process. It just drives them mad.
And the other thing is they rehearse their answers as they get feedback from each interviewer. They rehearse their answers, and often, like, you put the most important people whose time is the most valuable towards the end of the process.
Yeah.
Now I've had 6 goes at this question around why I left this short job chapter. I've got a perfectly buttoned up answer based on all the feedback that your colleagues gave me. Redundant process, wasted time. We're all an inch deep and a mile wide. Wasted time. So divide and conquer would be one. Happy to go into others.
Go into others. Like. Absolutely.
Sure. I would say, generally speaking, putting an exec through 15 plus interviewers is also a bad experience. It slows us down. It's wasted time. We hit diminishing returns way before that. I would say pick the short slate of interviewers who know their roles, who are able to go deep in the areas that they are specialists in, and have them capture the notes, capture the information. You've had this great dialogue. There's lots of ways to do that. We type. Some people do handwritten notes. If your organization allows it, you want to do an AI note taker, any one of these approaches can enable these other stakeholders to essentially reproduce the interview. I could look at your notes and know what you talked about. I didn't have to be there or talk to them myself. So if I'm like some board advisor number 12, I don't necessarily need to insert myself in the process and create friction and add time. I can simply review the body of evidence that we've gathered from all of these great conversations with this person and trust that you did a good job. So shorten the slates generally, deepen and specialize the interviews, and keep the questions focused on things that actually happened as opposed to how well the candidate performs in front of you.